It's the Rome Show with your host, Andrew Romanella. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Rome Show here on 12ozsports.com. We broadcast live on YouTube and XO and Roku TV, the brand new Roku TV app. You got to get it wherever you get your Roku TV. Just type in 12OZ Sports and you'll find the app soon to be added to the Roku TV guide lineup. So stay tuned for that. I am Andrew Romanella. We are on the road. It's the Rome Show on the road today. You could use the cues behind me to try and figure out where I am at. We are in beautiful Park City, Utah right now. Just arrived last night. It's 5:04 Mountain Standard Time, 7:04 Eastern Standard Time when we usually broadcast. So we might not have the full soundboard because we have our traveling soundboard today. Might not have all of the bells and whistles, but we worked really hard last night on figuring out a show that we could do on the road for the people. So we bring you a live show from Utah, and I am super stoked about it. Besides the fresh pow pow and the snowboarding on this fire board behind me, I get to do this weekend that we get to talk about. I want to break down a whole lot of stuff. So today I thought we could go through some hump day headlines for the people. We'll talk about some head coach firings and some potential hirings in the National Football League. We will also go through maybe not a major signing in Major League Baseball, but I thought because this player is a potential future Hall of Famer, he deserved his due on the Rome Show January 8th. We got a little NBA, and then we got some other stuff to throw in there, college football, etc. We finish every show with our daily bananas, so tune in, jump in, whatever. Let us know about the daily bananas, your picks, your thoughts, your sports feelings. Comment live on the YouTube, comment on the X, do whatever you need to do to get in on the show, but we appreciate you. Finally, before we go into the meat and potatoes, we tell you to follow us on social media. It's the Rome Show 1. That's the Rome Show, the number 1. We're on Instagram, we're on X, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook. Then you can follow the show, or the mothership, 12OZ Sports, at exactly how it's written, 12OZ Sports. I'm not going to lie, I miss my sounders. My little buttons here. We got a few on here. We got the laughter one. We got the cheer. We can giggle a little bit. So throughout the show, we'll work on getting you some sounders through our travel board. Okay, guys. All right. It was funny, but we're good now. Nonetheless, I am getting ready for a little hump day headlines, and we'll use our new sounder zone. All right, Hump Day headlines. The Rome Show, sponsor any part, 12OZ Sports, the Rome Show, whatever. Reach out to 12OZsports.com. We're going to start in the National Football League, and we're going to start with the Chicago Bears having their request to interview Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy was denied. So we are going to start there. So first and foremost, the Chicago Bears, who are looking for a new head coach that will hopefully come in and help tailor the offense and the system towards the number 1 overall pick last year, Caleb Williams. The Chicago Bears, trying to figure that out, asked the Cowboys if they could interview Mike McCarthy, who the Cowboys have not committed to over the next few years. His contract is up. The Cowboys have an exclusive negotiation window with Mike McCarthy until January 14th, I believe, which is why the Chicago Bears had to ask for permission on Mike McCarthy. The Cowboys, they denied that request. So that leaves you wondering, okay, does that mean the Cowboys are going to re-sign Mike McCarthy? Does it mean the Cowboys have another head coach in mind, but they just don't want anyone to speak to Mike McCarthy over the next 7 days of their exclusive window, so that if their maybe next candidate, or who they believe now is their top candidate, If that person falls through, they can say, all right, well, we're still in negotiations with Mike McCarthy, and we're going to go out and we're going to try and keep Mike McCarthy since no team's been allowed to negotiate with him over the last week. Nonetheless, it really dawns the question of what type of coach is Mike McCarthy, because as the Cowboys season comes to an end and you start to hear player interviews and you start to listen to different people in the organization, and I know there's players speak, there's politics, there's things that you need to say and do that are hopefully going to help set you up for your next job, team player, organization player, guy that's not going to cause any issues in the locker room. No doubt. You could go home and you could not like somebody, but in front of the media say, hey, I like this guy, good head coach, really, really somebody that has helped me get better during my time in the National Football League. And across the board, people have said that about Mike McCarthy. And this is one of those things that I don't know if it's necessarily on record. He's had a 20-plus year head coaching career. He won a Super Bowl in Green Bay. He's probably been in the playoffs 13 or 14 of his years coaching as a head coach in the National Football League. So despite what you might want to say about clock management here or player management there or play call here, which are all rightfully so okay to be questioned on Mike McCarthy, at the end of the day, dudes like playing for him. And he falls into kind of that Mike Tomlin area. I don't think he's as good as a Mike Tomlin. I don't think he's an elite level head coach, nor do I really believe I would want Mike McCarthy as the head coach of my football team. However, maybe now I might. Nonetheless, if I'm trading Mikes, McDaniel, and McCarthy for the Finns, what do you want? Tangent, we're not going there. End of the day, there are way worse head football coaches you can have in this league. So I think the Dallas Cowboys have to decide, is the grass truly greener on the other side? Is that the decision we want to make here? For the Chicago Bears now, they have to set their sights on another head coaching candidate. So what I'm reading, per sources, ESPN, MSN, Yahoo, Pro Football Talks, just all of them, Pete Carroll, the former Seattle Seahawks head coach, is apparently in line to interview, and he's looking to get back into football. He's 73, has not been in the game in over 2 years. Joe Brady, the Bills' offensive coordinator, he might be getting an interview. Mike Vrabel, former Tennessee Titans head football coach, he also got an interview with the New England Patriots. And then Brian Flores, former Miami Dolphins head football coach, offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings, he's in line to potentially get an interview from the Chicago Bears. So a lot of candidates there for Chicago, and you have to think to yourself, do you believe any of those candidates would be better than who they wanted to go after from the jump, which is Mike McCarthy? Pete Carroll won a Super Bowl, lost another, some questionable decision-making, but always had teams that bought in. Is he a little bit too old, though? Joe Brady, can he be a head coach? Mike Vrabel, second opportunity, did a really good job in Tennessee. I would say best candidate of the four of them. Brian Flores, good job in Miami, but how it ended, question marks there. But did say, Brian Flores, that is, that he would take any job interview he could possibly have. He'll go on it for a head coaching opportunity. So some interesting notes there. Obviously, a lot of teams in the National Football League that are searching for a head football coach. Jacksonville Jaguars, New England Patriots, Dallas Cowboys, Chicago Bears, right? There are just so many jobs open. And then you add our next storyline into the mix. Antonio Pierce fired as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. So I don't know if you were on my social media recently, posted this yesterday on TikTok and Instagram. I'll throw it on Twitter. The Rome Show 1. I told you already. It's at the bottom of the screen. Head there because we talked about this point yesterday about one-and-done head coaches and the career that Bill Belichick had. Or find the podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, and just listen to yesterday's show. But Antonio Pierce is the 7th one-and-done head football coach in the last 3 seasons in the National Football League. Now, because Antonio Pierce was an interim head ball coach in 2023 with a 3-1 record, which led to him getting this job as the full-time head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Unfortunately, the Raiders had 0 wins in division this year. They had the worst record they've had as an organization since 2018, and they trailed by double digits in 15 of 17 games this season. Now, I am not saying that Pierce deserved to be fired because, again, you listen to the interviews, you hear reports out of Las Vegas, seems like players really liked him. And I just don't believe that if a head coach gets fired with no quarterback, okay, you set him up with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. Now, I'm not sitting here saying Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell aren't actually better than 12 to 15 guys in the league, but I'm not telling you that Antonio Pierce should be thinking playoffs with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell coming back as the quarterbacks of an 8-9 football team. I just don't. I think he was set up for the recipe of failure. But GM Tim Tedesco, who was hired with Antonio Pierce, gets to keep his job. I just don't understand it. And what I really don't get is, and even though the numbers speak against Antonio Pierce, and maybe you can count it as his second year since he was an interim last year, you can get into those semantics. Bottom line is, what are these owners and general managers doing? Like, I think it's more an indictment on the GM and the owner if they're firing a coach after one season than it is anybody else. Because think about what went on with the Arizona Cardinals. I want to say this is 2019. You can fact check the year. The year was, though, the draft of Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray. That draft, okay? The year before, it was the year before the Kyler Murray draft with all of those guys, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, okay? Josh Rosen was drafted top 10. Ooh, sorry for that noise. That's my fault. Oh. Haha, okay. Josh Rosen was drafted top 10, okay, by the Arizona Cardinals. Head coach Steve Wilks comes in. Josh Rosen doesn't look like a quarterback. They don't believe in Steve Wilks. Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray become available the next year. They fire Steve Wilks, one and done. They get rid of Josh Rosen, which was actually the right decision, but an indictment on the GM and the organization because they drafted him top 10 overall the year before. He wasn't in the league the next 3 years. And, oh, by the way, how is it working out for the Arizona Cardinals since then? How? So I understand we may have seen it a few other times and it's worked. I really go back to, why are we hiring these people in the first place? We have such a poor process for hiring general managers to then hiring head coaches that dudes can get hired in 1 year and fired without even the chance to move on to year number 2. Like, I would believe that the worst head coach ever, right, I think, that I've ever seen in my time living was Urban Meyer for the Jacksonville Jaguars, okay? I think Saad Khan fired him after like 13 games. There's no one more deserving than getting fired that quickly than Urban Meyer, based on the things you've heard, and you know the true stories about Urban Meyer, certified bad guy, okay? But then you hear the things coming out of Jacksonville when he became the head coach. They're like, nah, we're good on this dude. So he deserved to be fired. Outside of that, you probably go back in the history of football coaches that got fired after the first year, and more than anything else, they probably should have never been hired for their opportunity in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, that to me is what I think is the biggest indictment. Don't hire a guy in his first opportunity as a head coach that probably is now going to be set up for failure because you didn't set up his roster and his situation appropriately. That's what happened to Antonio Pierce. That's what happened to Gerard Mayo. And over the last 3 years, it's happened to 7 different dudes. And it's like, what? So you're telling me you can have a good general manager that hired that guy now wants to fire him a year later, and you can have sustainability in your franchise? Check the San Francisco 49ers. They have sustainability between head coach and GM, and they still haven't won a Super Bowl. And they still have a year where they go 6-11. And we'll all sit here and say, keep the GM and keep the coach. Stability matters. And then you divert to what the Giants are doing. Like, I can kind of understand what they're thinking. Do I maybe agree with the two they're hitching their horse and their carriage to? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe those aren't the right guys to give longevity to and let lose like this, make draft picks and continue on. But at least it's refreshing to see. All right, New York Giants, shout out for at least giving dudes a chance. And you know what? If maybe in 2 years the Giants win a Super Bowl or at least are in the Super Bowl, not one Giants fan, they'll remember it, obviously. But they're not going to come back out and say, oh, they're going to be, I never wanted them fired. No, I love sustainability. Love it. No, because most of them probably do want them fired. And I'm not saying that's not right either. I'm just stating it is refreshing when organizations do choose consistency and togetherness. Before we hit the break here, just wanted to let you know, Chris Greer, the general manager of the Miami Dolphins, I'll pop this up on my screen, met with Tyreek Hill. And he states good news. Okay, we met for, I want to say, about an hour, said head coach Mike McDaniel, who this quote is of. I think I was very direct with him. He was very honest, and it was great in terms of that what we were discussing, not English, discussed multiple things, including without wavering, that it's not acceptable to leave the game and it won't be tolerated in the future. He embraced accountability, and I wouldn't say there was anything necessarily to fix as much as we had to clear in the air and in a rough and tumultuous situation. Listen, man, Dolphins didn't have that great of a year. Tyreek's one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League, had a really bad year, tough quarterback situation. Maybe he's not starting to believe in Tua. There's got to be a lot there, okay? At the end of the day, a competitor is a competitor, and Tyreek Hill's a competitor. And he said it in his post-game presser after the first presser after the year ended. I've been in the playoffs every single year of my career until this year. And so when that happens, somebody like Tyreek Hill starts to rethink some things. And I think that's just what happened with the Miami Dolphins. We'll see. I'm sure this story might take a little bit of Jimmy Butler over the course of the summer, but something to look at when it comes to the Dolphins roster and figuring out what their moves are moving forward to not waste some of the talent they have on their team. I hope I'm not wasting your time. No, I'm not wasting your time this morning. Hope you're enjoying the show. Rome Show on the road, okay? Park City, Utah. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Park City, Utah. You can still connect with me, though, because we're live. So youtube.com/12OZ Sports, comment there. X.com/12OZ Sports, comment there. I can see them live on the broadcast screen. When we get back from commercial break, Justin Verlander signs a 1-year deal. He is number one in 3 categories for active pitchers. We'll give you those. Ashton Janti of Boise State declares for the NFL draft, and a few more firings and notes from the National Football League. Plus, the TGL started yesterday, and it looks fire. We got some videos and some pictures for you. If you don't know what the TGL is, it is an indoor golf simulator league created by Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. You got to stick around for after this commercial break, because some of these videos and pictures of this indoor stadium they built is sick. All right, it's the Rome Show. It's 12OZsports.com. We're on X. We're on Roku. We're back after this commercial break.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them. Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12OZsports.com/tickets. That's 12OunceSports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
It's the Rome Show. Woo! What's up, everybody? Rome Show on the road, making it work any way we can. Great life lesson right there. Doesn't matter the resources you have. It matters the effort you want to put into making those resources elite. Andrew Romanella, the Rome Show, every day, 7 a.m. We air live, 12ozsports.com, youtube.com/12ozsports, x.com/12ozsports, and yeah, fire me up one time, Roku TV, 12OZ Sports. You got to love it. Get the podcast wherever you get the podcast. If you missed the show, re-airs on 12ozsports.com every single day, or just go to YouTube. I mean, so stinking simple. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to run through these notes real quick for you so we can talk TGL. Justin Verlander signs. Justin Verlander signs with the San Francisco Giants. Justin Verlander will now enter his 20th season in Major League Baseball. Did you know Justin Verlander leads Major League Baseball at 42 years old for all active pitchers in innings pitched, wins, and Ks? He has 262 career wins to 147 losses, a career ERA of 3.30, but he's pitched 3,415 and 2/3 innings in Major League Baseball. And you know how many struck out? 3,416. That is right. So Justin Verlander, over a 20-year career, has averaged 1 K per inning pitched. He is 38 games away from 300. Clearly, a big-time milestone, and clearly a number that we will not see, I don't think, ever again in Major League Baseball the way we're trending. So I'm thinking, and I don't know if this is even possible because I think he'd have to play 4 more years. I mean, in his last 8 starts last year, he had an 8-some ERA. So he'd have to win like 12 games a year for 4 years to get that, something like that. So I don't know if that's going to happen. But Justin Verlander, San Francisco Giant, he's going to join Logan Webb, Robbie Ray, and Kyle Harrison. So big-time rotation there, possibly brewing for the Giants. News out of San Francisco. We spoke about Kyle Shanahan before the break. Nick Sorensen has been fired as the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco Giants, and Brian Scheiders has been fired as the special teams coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. So like we talked about before the break, the 49ers, one of those organizations that has elected to go with consistency over the course of the last 8 years with Lynch and Shanahan. They have been to 2 Super Bowls. I think five postseasons maybe or something like that. They've missed playoffs 3 or 4 times. We've talked about this. It's either NFC Championship game or no postseason for the San Francisco 49ers. But since Robert Saleh was hired as the Jets head coach 3 years ago, the 49ers have had 3 separate defensive coordinators. So this little birdie of me, no one's telling me this, I'm just believing it. Look out for Robert Saleh to become the next defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers. Oh no, my pillow fell. There you go, Park City. That right there is what I believe will reset that defense in San Francisco, and probably reset Saleh. He's like a special advisor to somebody on a team right now. But he was a really good defensive coordinator when he was in San Francisco. And then finally, one more for you before we get to golf. And that comes out of Boise State, Idaho. Ashton Janti has declared for the NFL draft. Just wanted to give you the final numbers on Janti. In 14 games this season for Boise State, he finished with 2,601 yards and 29 touchdowns. That's good for second all-time behind Oklahoma State's Barry Sanders, who ran for 2,628 yards, I believe, in 1988 for the Oklahoma State Cowboys in 2 seasons of playing legitimate everyday down football for Boise State. Janti had 750 carries, 50 touchdowns, and 4,769 rushing yards. I believe you're looking at a miniature version of Derrick Henry entering the National Football League. If you remember Derrick Henry coming out of Alabama, winning that Heisman Trophy, he was more of a run-the-rock football player than he was somebody that was going to catch passes out of the backfield. So you're going to have to hope that early on in his career, he can run the rock through people and show some shiftiness around people and be a first and second down running back and maybe be able to be a third down running back from a block standpoint and be a good enough catcher, as we've seen Derrick Henry develop into, to be able to be a 3-down back in the National Football League. Feels like a little bit of a one-trick pony, but I don't believe that's exactly who he is. And I think behind a legitimate offense, which I think that's what's going to happen, he's the number one rated running back everywhere. I think he's going to end up getting drafted later in the first round or in the second round, maybe to a better situation with a better offensive line. And as we know, the National Football League's a 2-back league anyways. So he's probably going to be drafted into a 2-back situation, which is obviously going to help his development as well. So Aston Janti headed to the National Football League. Oh, I got one more for you here, actually. This is a quick one, but very interesting. Zion Williamson returned last night for the New Orleans Pelicans, who are atrocious at basketball. So they're looking like they're trending towards another first or second overall pick, though they do the lottery, so it could be different. He returned after missing 27 games last night. He had 22 points in 28 minutes, was 9 of 15 from the field, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. But that's not why I tell you this. Zion was drafted in 2019. He was the first overall pick out of Duke. We all remember the hype. Every Knick fan and their mother wanted Zion Williamson. They got R.J. Barrett in that draft that year. Well, since that draft, out of a possible 447 basketball games, Zion Williams, let me say that again. Out of a possible 447 basketball games, Zion Williamson has only played in 190 for the New Orleans Pelicans in 5.5 seasons. So I think every team in that draft 2019 that wanted Zion coming out of Duke should be very thankful that he was drafted by the Pelicans, because they've seen nothing positive come of it, except they lost Anthony Davis, who went to the Lakers and won a championship and has continued to cement a potential Hall of Fame career. So interesting there for Zion. All right, let's finish here with our last update. Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy have launched the TGL Indoor Golf League. It includes a 15-hole league with a bunch of different professionals playing on like 6 different teams. They got shot clock. They're allowed to trash talk. There's fans in the building. I want to show you some pictures from this. Okay, first I'm going to show you what it looks like. This is SoFi Stadium. I believe this is in it's in Florida on the campus of Palm Beach State University. So there is real grass, as you can see on your screen, that the players hit off of. They're driving from about 65 or 70 yards away from the screen, as you can see here, the screen to your left. And then if you get this up top view right here, I'll show you the fan view. You can see the far side is the screen where they're going to drive from. And then you see the elevated greens with sand. These are a legitimately designed course. We'll show you the guy on screen. He's essentially, I'll turn the volume off. There you go. He is describing, and you can see right now, the green is moving. So after the player takes their shot, the green, they will then move to where their ball would be located based on the shot. They're playing specifically designed courses by golf course designers. And it is very interesting, okay? The playing surface is very realistic, McIlroy said. Whenever you hit it out of the rough, you have to think about whether you're going to get a flyer, whether it's going to come out soft, a lot of things that you would have to think about on a real golf course. The green zone's state-of-the-art, 22,475 square foot short game area that dynamically transforms between holes, as you can see on the screen right here. Here's an example of how real it looks. I got a live putt on screen. A turntable 41 yards wide rotates the artificial turf green to create varying approach angles, while nearly 600 features morph the terrain to simulate different topographies of 30 different greens. Royer McIlroy said, I still feel like the ball reacts very realistic on the green. We toyed around with the idea of using real grass and turf on the green, but with the rotation of the green, and then obviously the jacks underneath, they had an issue with that. So the ability to change slopes, we were afraid if we used real turf that the turf could crack. We made the decision to go with artificial grass so the grass green because we want to make it interesting. So essentially, here's how the matches will work. Then I'll finish up for you. They started January 7th. They run through March 4th. There's 15-hole matches that are split into 2 sessions. 9 holes of alternating shot. Player takes a shot. Next player takes the shot. Next player takes the shot. And then 6 holes of head-to-head where each golfer plays holes against each other. Each hole is worth 1 point. There are no carryovers. If the 2 teams are tied at the end of regulation, overtime determines the winner. Overtime is closest to the pin, sudden death. Pretty fire stuff, right? And essentially, this is the view from the fans to finish up for you. Super sick situation they got going on here. There's a lot of other stuff and semantics that you get into, shot clocks and timeouts, 40-second shot clock for each player. There's, referees. You can talk smack. There's a hammer, which makes one of the shots double the points. So a lot of cool stuff here. And I actually saw a tweet yesterday that said, are you more interested in the TGL than you are the PGA Tour? And I got to be honest with you, I might be in this moment because of, one, maybe the time period recency bias. If you follow Coach Romo24 on TikTok, you'll see my connection with Golf Cave. So I do indoor golfing. But more so than anything else, the more realism of the feel of it being more like a environment a fan would want to be in. The fans are loud. There's music. They're playing with volume. When they made the putt, if you saw the lights change colors, right? All that stuff is cool to the fans. That appeals to the fans. It also helps grow the game of golf. So I got to imagine this, since it's being played by real golfers, will also help grow the game of golf in the PGA Tour. So I think I am slightly more excited for this. I'm pumped to watch some more of it. I was on the plane yesterday, so I couldn't watch it live. I'm going to go back and try and find it today. But I just wanted to show you the clips and check out the TGL on over the next 2 months. So check it out. It aired on ESPN, so easy for everybody to find. This was really easy for me to do for the people. So I hope you enjoyed Rome Show on the road, Park City, Utah. We'll be coming back Thursday and Friday, figuring out how we're going to do it. Might do a live show, might do a pre-recorded show. My nephew Nico will be here, and he is obsessed with the podcasting game. So there's a solid chance my nephew might join us, but newsflash, and I'm sure you're not surprised by this, he's probably better than me behind a microphone. So we really don't have much to worry about. All you need to worry about is tuning into the Rome Show at 7 a.m. tomorrow on 12ozsports.com, on youtube.com/12ozsports, on X, or Roku TV, which I think is super fire. If you have a Roku TV, download the 12OZ Sports app. You can get Rome Show and all the rest of our awesome programs. I'm going to hit the pow with this fire Rome Show Football Club hoodie. If you're getting ready for the playoffs and you're looking for a fire hoodie, hit me up. Coach_Romo24 on Instagram, or the Rome Show 1, and you can get one of these hoodies. I'm going to take half of what we make and give it right back to 12OZ Sports so that we can make sure that 12OZ Sports and the Rome Show keep improving. So custom make, you can't find these online. I got them in the maroon, which you can see on Instagram. I also have them in black. We can change the logo in the center for you as well. Rome Show Football Club hoodie. We'll make it in any color that is your favorite teams. But we're trying to make some money here for 12OZ Sports and the Rome Show. So whatever we can make off this Rome Show Football Club hoodie thing, me and the 12-ounce sports guys will be fired up. And if you reach out to them, they'll reach out to me and we'll do it together. But something I cooked up the other day, I said, you know what? I need a way to thank 12-ounce sports for what they've done for me, for the Rome Show. And I thought, you know what? Everyone's been commenting on this hoodie. Maybe this is what we should do. So let's make some money for 12OZ Sports, and let's sell some Rome Show Football Club hoodies. DM me on any of the social medias if you want one. Just DM what color you want, if you want the helmet or the football logo, what size you are, obviously. And then where I need to send it to, and I'll send you the rest and any other details we need. All right, Rome Show Football Club to help out 12 O's Esports and the gang, which we love. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Again, I really hope you enjoyed the show today. I really enjoyed Rome's show on the road. Make sure you have an electric day. All right? And I'll see you tomorrow. Andrew O'Mella. Peace! Thank you for listening.